For recording also. Okay, Swarup is already recording. Thanks. Okay, so today we'll be talking about communication protocols, and this is what communication protocols. Specifically, I'm concentrating on wired communication protocol. Wired communication protocol. So what is this wired communication protocol? It's something like where two devices are physically connected and how exactly they can communicate to each other is what we are trying to say. So we have wireless communication protocols as well. Like we have RF, we have Zigbee, we have GSM, we have LoRa. So there are a lot of other Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, so most commonly used wireless communication protocols. But today specifically we will be talking about wired communication protocol where two devices are connected to each other physically. So first thing is, what is protocol? So protocol is something to do with a set of rules where two devices can understand those rules and they can communicate with each other. It's something like English is an language where they have some set of rules, and when I use that rules and when I speak, the other guy also understands those rules and he can decode it and he can understand what I am trying to talk. So it's something like somebody have made some rules, and only with that specific rules, if we follow those rules and try to communicate, so that is when the other side, the other side receiver also will can decode that specific. If he understands those rules, he can decode that specific thing, and he can understand what is being communicated. So this is what it is. So protocol is communication protocol is some set of rules which is defined, and both the devices has to follow those rules. So devices, when I'm talking here, we'll have two devices, D1, and you will have D2. So when these two people are communicating, so here also there will be some rules, and both the devices should follow some same rules. So that is what I am trying to say. So first thing is, we should understand communication protocols are broadly classified into some major categories. So first thing we'll try to understand is uh, we will try to understand four different categories, whatever is there. So here first thing is, we have something called serial and parallel communication. So what is serial and parallel communication? So serial communication is something to do with I'll just remove this by this board may not be sufficient. Let me put this way. Okay. So what is serial communication and parallel communication? We have something called parallel. So what is serial communication? Serial communication is something to do with you are transmitting the data sequentially with only one line. So that is what is your serial communication. D1, this is D2. So you are transmitting the data one after the other in the same line. So that is what is your serial communication. So parallel communication. So parallel communication is something to do with you transmit the data with more number of lines simultaneously. So you transmit the data, you have not only one line, you have more than one line, and you transmit the data simultaneously with these lines. So that is what is your parallel communication. So now if at all, if you want to tell the difference between serial communication and parallel communication, so let us put that here in terms of serial communication and parallel communication. What is the difference? So serial communication, parallel communication. So in serial communication, definitely this data is sent sequentially. So data is transmitted one after the other. Here in parallel communication, data is transmitted together, right? So it can be this parallel communication can have 8-bit data, or it can have 16-bit data, or it can have 4-bit data. It's basically more than one line is what we call it as parallel communication. So now what is the advantage? Definitely serial communication, since we are sending. So here, let's say you want to send 8-bit, you have to send 8-bit one after the other. So this is what you have to send 8-bit one after the other. But here you can send 8-bit all of once. So definitely this is parallel communication is faster than my serial communication. So this is comparatively slow and parallel communication is fast. So that's what I can say. So and when you see this, serial communication requires less hardware and parallel communication requires more hardware. uh, so that's what it is. And one thing that we have to understand more importantly is whenever you are running in parallel communication, you are running two lines together next to each other. It is parallel, so two lines carrying voltages. So when two lines are carrying voltages, so what happens is when two lines are carrying voltages, there is some electromagnetic field which is getting generated. There is some capacitance which gets generated here. So since there is some capacitance which gets generated, what exactly happens is between, if you go for longer distance, the voltage decreases. So voltage decreases in parallel communication because two lines are in parallel and there are voltage in both the lines. So that's the reason there is some magnetic field and that will cause actually the degradation of the voltage. So if you go with respect to the distance, if you calculate the voltage drops. So voltage drops with respect to the distance. So parallel communication cannot be used for long distance. So here can be used for long distance. This is serial communication. Parallel communication can't be used for long distance. Of course, we can use it for long distance. Only it can be used for long distance with repeaters. So we use repeaters with amplifiers. Amplifiers or repeaters. So after we run through parallel communication, we use an amplifier. Again we continue. Again we use amplifier. So this is how we can use. Of course, we can use parallel communication for long distance, but there may be a lot of repeaters or amplifiers which are required. So that is what you have in terms of parallel communication. So you have one type of bifurcation, that is serial communication, and you have your parallel communication. So the next set of bifurcation is something to do with you have something called simplex. So what is simplex communication? Simplex communication is where D1 is transmitting and D2 is always receiving. So that is what is your simplex communication. A simplex communication is, I repeat, one device is transmitting, the other device is always receiving. So that is what we call it as a simplex communication. So a simple example would be this class where I am speaking and you are receiving. So that is what is simplex communication. But if you ask questions, it becomes not a simplex communication. It becomes half duplex or full duplex communication. The other simple example in wired communication is whatever we have used something called LCD. So in LCD, if you see, microcontroller always transmits and we don't receive anything from LCD. So that is also some kind of simplex communication where only one device is transmitting, the other device is always receiving. The other example, the live example, it is not wired communication. The wireless communication example would be something to do with radio, TV, where they broadcast and all the other devices receives. So the broadcasting messages is received by everyone, and TV or radio does not transmit back anything. So that is what is our simplex communication is. So then you have something called half duplex communication. So I generally write it here only. So let us try to, I can't fit it here. So half duplex communication. So what is this half duplex communication? Half duplex communication is something to do with you can both transmit and receive, but not simultaneously. So you have only one line for communication, and you can both do and transmit and receive, but you cannot do simultaneously. So this is what is your half duplex communication is. So you have only one line. So you have only one line for both transmit and receive, and we can do both transmit and receive, but not simultaneously. So simple example would be you might have seen this walkie-talkie and other things, where you generally say over and out, and the other guy actually talk. So it is only one media to communicate, and there is only one physical media. So when one guy is transmitting, the other guy should receive. When the other guy is transmitting, the other guy should only receive. So both cannot be done simultaneously. So that is what is your half duplex communication is. Then you have your full duplex communication. So what is this full duplex communication? So full duplex communication is something to do with you have dedicated line for both transmit and receive. So both transmit and receive can happen simultaneously. So that is something to do with your telephone, you might have seen. So both transmit and receive can happen simultaneously. So that is what is your half duplex communication is. Sorry, full duplex communication is. So one type of bifurcation is serial and parallel. The other type of bifurcation is you have something to do with simplex, half duplex, and full duplex communication. So simplex is something like only one device transmits and other only receives RX. I put it as transmit receive as TX and RX. So half duplex is both can both can TX and RX, both can transmit and receive, but not simultaneously. That's what you have. Full duplex is both can transmit and receive simultaneously. That is what you have as one more type of bifurcation, that is simplex, half duplex, and full duplex communication. So now we have one more type of bifurcation which is really important, that is your synchronous and asynchronous communication. So what is this synchronous and asynchronous communication? So it's something that we may have to understand. So synchronous and asynchronous communication, let us try to open one more. So please pay attention, this is super important. So whenever you are transmitting some data, let's assume I am taking some example. I am transmitting some data. So can anyone interpret this? So what exactly is transmitting? So if I ask anyone to interpret, so probably what they can interpret that as 0, and they may tell it as 1, and they may tell it as 0, and again they may say as 1, 0, 1, 0, and here they may say 2 ones because it looks like a bigger 1, and here they may say 0. So this is what you may interpret it as. So how exactly you interpret? You saw it and you somehow guessed it. So that is what happens. But generally in communication, what exactly happens whenever you are transmitting some data, this data has to be sampled at some frequency. Okay, and when it samples that specific data, so what is the data it gets at that sampling will decide whether it is 0 or 1. So it has to be sampled at a fixed frequency. So whenever you actually sample at a fixed frequency, so now in this case I am sampling it, so I see 0, and again I sample it and I see 1, again I sample it, I see 1, again I sample it, I see 0, again I sample it, I see. So this whatever you are sampling, so this sampling will be always fixed. So that is what is your sampling frequency is. So and also I can say that the rate at which the transmitter is transmitting, at the same rate the receiver has to sample so that it can understand the data properly. So what I am trying to say is, let's say it is transmitting at this t frequency. So I am sampling at the same frequency at the receiver. So it is all perfect. So let's say I will start sampling at faster rate. So it is transmitting at t, but I am trying to sample at faster rate. So I will sample it more number of times here. So what exactly happens? I see instead of 1 0, I can see many zeros, right? So I can see many zeros here. So that is to say that whatever, if at all, if you don't sample the data at the same frequency at which your transmitter is transmitting, then your data is interpreted wrongly. That is what I can say. So one statement that I can make is, first thing is, we have to sample the data at the receiver so that we can interpret the data. So sampling is a must. So one thing I have to very much clarify is, we have to sample the data. So there is, without sampling, we cannot understand what data they are trying to send. So sampling is trying to understand what data is trying to send at any given point of time. So that is what it is. That is first statement. Sampling is something which is compulsory for any communication. So now second point I can make is, the sampling rate at both the sides should be same. Like whatever you are the device, whatever the rate at which it is transmitted, at the same rate it has to be received also, so that the data is interpreted properly. So this is second statement which I make. So I hope this is clear. So I cannot sample it at very high rate, or I cannot sample it at very small rate, so that I get only 0 and I get only 1 and I get only 0. So that is also not correct. Or sampling at very high rate is also not correct. So it is very much required that whatever rate at which you are transmitting, at the same rate you have to receive also. So sampling is a must. So now with this as a concept, they have told as something called synchronous and asynchronous communication. So what is the synchronous and asynchronous communication is? So synchronous communication is to say that you transmit the data along with the clock. You transmit the data along with the clock. This is D1, this is D2, and the same clock will be used by the receiver to sample the data. So sampling is something which is compulsory, we got to know. So now you transmit the data, whatever data you are transmitting, you transmit the data, and you also send the reference clock. So you also send the reference clock. So the same reference clock will be used by the receiver to sample this specific data, so that there is no confusion. So this is what is your synchronous communication is. So now what is asynchronous communication? So asynchronous communication is, you transmit only data, you don't transmit clock. So you transmit only data. So this is D1, this is D2. You transmit only data, you don't transmit clock. So then whether sampling is not happening? No, that is not correct. So sampling should happen. So there is a local clock which is generated inside the device itself to sample this data. There is local clock which is generated inside the device itself to actually sample the data. And this clock, definitely it is not connected, but this clock are running at same frequency. These clocks are running at same frequency, so that whatever the rate at which it is transmitted, the same rate it has been received. So that is what has to happen. So synchronous communication is something to do with transmit the data along with the clock, and the same clock will be used to sample the data. So that is what is your synchronous communication. Asynchronous communication is something to do with you only transmit the data. There are two separate clocks in both transmitter and receiver, and both are running at same frequency, and that will be used to sample the data. So that is what is your asynchronous communication is. So in that case, what exactly, this is not the clock of, one thing I have to stress is, this is not the processor clock or the device clock. Like in 8051 we have 11.0592 megahertz, and let's say my computer, this is 8051, let's say this is 8051, and let's say this is my laptop. So my laptop runs with 2.1 gigahertz and my 8051 runs with 11.0592 megahertz. So whether the clocks are same, no, this is not the clock I am talking at all. So this is the processor clock, and this is not the clock which I am talking about. There is a separate clock which we generate for any communication. So depending upon what kind of communication and what rate we have to transmit, we generate a separate clock, and that clock will be used for our transmission and reception. So that should be with the same frequency. So that is what I am trying to say. So it is not the processor clock which will be of same frequency. Processor clock may differ between two devices. So laptop is running at 2.1 gigahertz and my 8051 is running at 11.0592 megahertz. That is not the clock which I am talking about. I am talking about the clock which is used for data transmission, and those clock will be at same frequency. And you transmit the data, and there are two separate clocks inside the device, which will be used for sampling, and that makes it asynchronous communication. So overall bifurcation, I repeat again. So we have something called serial and parallel communication. Then we have simplex, half duplexed, and full duplex communication. Then we have synchronous and your asynchronous communication. So synchronous communication, what exactly that is to say? Synchronous communication, transmit the data along with the clock. So that is what it is. Here only transmit the data, both device, that is TX and RX will have a local clock to sample the data which are running at same frequency. So this is what it is. So that is what is your asynchronous communication is. So with this said, there are different communication protocols which are available in the industry. Let us try to understand some of those. First one, let us try to understand different communication protocols. So let us try to where exactly? Okay, so let me take one more page. So let me put some table here. And first one is I'm talking about this is very difficult in this I2C. So what is this I2C? I2C, the name says it is, let us talk about I2C. So I2C is inter IC communication protocol. So I repeat, I2C is inter-IC communication protocol. To communicate using I2C protocol, what exactly we have to do is, so I2C protocol is something, it has two lines. One is called as SDA, the other one is called as SCL, that is serial data, SDA, that is serial data. The other one is serial clock, SCL. So these are the two lines which are required to communicate between two devices using I2C. So what kind of communication protocol is this according to you guys? So if you see, for transmitting the data, it has only one line. So that is to say it is serial communication, and it has only one line for transmitting and receiving. So it cannot do transmit and receive simultaneously. So that's the reason it is half duplex communication. Of course, it is transmitting the data along with the clock. So that makes it synchronous communication. So if you talk about I2C, so I2C is a serial half duplexed synchronous communication. So that is what is an I2C protocol is. Of course, this I2C protocol has a lot more to understand. We'll go in detail about I2C protocol and try to understand. So some of the devices that will be used for I2C protocol is something like we have ADC chips, analog to digital converters. We have EEPROMs, that is electrically erasable EEPROMs. So EEPROMs. Then we have some camera sensors. So there are a lot of there are some sensors which are available, which are the chips which are available, which can be communicated through I2C protocol. So that is what you have as part of your I2C protocol. So I can name it as it's an serial half duplexed synchronous communication. So that is what I can say. And it requires two lines. If at all, if you see, it requires SDA and SCL as two different lines for communication. And some of the examples, what I was talking about was you have ADC chips, you have sensor chips, you have EEPROMs, you have some so there are a lot of devices which will come back in detail. So the next one, the protocol which we have to understand is SPI, that is serial peripheral interface. So this is what we have, SPI as a protocol. This is also most commonly used protocol in embedded. So that is your SPI protocol. So in SPI protocol, how exactly SPI works, or let us try to understand SPI. So one thing you have to remember is all this protocol will go in detail. I'm just giving you an introduction. So we just want to understand what all things we have. So each protocol will go in detail. So in SPI we have something like four lines. We call it as MOSI, that is master out slave in, MISO, that is master in slave out, and you have a clock. Of course, we have something called chip select, which we'll discuss later. We have something called chip select also. But chip select is only to select the device. But for now, we have basically master out slave in, that is to transmit, and master in slave out is to receive. Then you have a clock also. So what kind of communication protocol is this? So of course this is serial because you have only one line for transmitting and one line for reception. So this is serial. And then it is half duplexed because you have, sorry, it is full duplexed because you have one dedicated line for transmit and one dedicated line for receive. So you can do both transmit and receive simultaneously. Then it's a synchronous communication protocol. Why synchronous? Because you're transmitting the data along with your clock. So that's the reason it makes it as synchronous communication. So most commonly used SPI protocol is also most commonly used everywhere. So one of the place which is commonly used is SD card. So whatever you have in your mobile phone SD card, so that also works in SPI protocol. Then you have some sensors. Then you have there are a lot of devices. So this specific thing I am leaving you as an assignment. I want you to research a bit. It may take some 10 minutes. So what I want you guys to do is do a simple Google search. Let's say devices used in I2C protocol. So let's assume devices used in so devices that uses I2C protocol. So if at all, if you see, there are a lot of devices that can use I2C protocol. So you should, and of course, this I2C protocol is something which is introduced by Philips as a company. So we will go in detail about this. So there may be some places where they may be talking about list of devices which are used in I2C protocol. So you just need to Google it and let me know if at all if you see there is something called EEPROM as an I2C protocol. So I want you to do a bit of research and list down all the devices which uses I2C protocol. So that is what I want you guys to do. Similarly, SPI also. SPI is serial peripheral interface. So SPI again, if at all if you talk, it's an serial. It's an what do you say? Full duplexed synchronous communication. And so example is SD card is one of the simple example that I can give for now. The next protocol we can take as USB. So what is USB? USB is universal serial bus. So that is what is here USB is. So how exactly USB works? So let us try to understand how exactly USB works. USB is something to do. So if at all USB protocol. So USB is something, if at all, if you have two devices which is communicating through USB, it requires two lines, that is your D plus and your D minus. So it is a differential pair communication protocol. So what is differential pair communication is something, again, an assignment for you. I want you guys to understand what is differential pair. So tomorrow I'll explain you, but for today I want you to understand what is differential pair communication. So what is differential pair communication is something I want you guys to understand. Differential, I don't know if the spelling is correct, differential differential pair communication. So that is what it is. So differential pair communication. So what exactly it is. So to give you an just an heads up on differential communication, basically it is two lines which is going in parallel, and whatever it uses, both the lines are used for communication, and the positive signals are sent with plus and the negative signals are sent in the minus thing. So if at all, if you are transmitting something to do with something like this, so all these positive signals are sent in D plus, all these negative signals are sent in D minus. So that is what it is. So this is what is differential pair, and we will try to understand differential pair in detail. So basically there is, so whenever you are sampling at the other side, the differential pair, you take the difference between these two signals, then you identify whether it is, if it is a positive number, it is to say it's a positive number, it is to say it is 1. If it is a negative number, it is to say it is minus. So you take the difference between two lines to understand whether we have received 0 or 1. So that is what is in differential pair. So both of them are used for transmission. So what kind of communication is this? So this is a serial communication, because it is not parallel, because both of them are used for transmission, or otherwise both of them are used for reception. So it is not like one is used for transmission, one is used for reception. So both of them will be used for transmission, both of them will be used for reception. That is, still you have to send the data sequentially only. You cannot send the data parallelly. So that is still a serial communication, and it's an half duplex communication. Again, I am saying, though you may be seeing two lines here, both will be used for transmission and both will be used for reception simultaneously. So it is something like it is not in separate line. So that is what it is, still an half duplex communication, and you don't have a clock along with the data. So that's the reason it becomes your asynchronous communication. So that is what it is. So if at all, if you see the USB lines, generally USB stick. So one of the example, let's say USB pen drive. Let us take an example of pen drive. Pen drive, I will just show you how exactly this pen drive looks like. None of the pen drives are showing me. So here, so if at all, if you see this, there are 4 lines in this USB. So this is, even if you see anywhere inside this connector, there will be 4 lines which are running inside the USB. So what exactly these 4 lines are? So definitely 2 lines inside this are D plus and D minus, and the other one is something to do with VCC, and the other one is ground. Because this device, when it is connected to the computer, there is some microcontroller inside this device, or there is some electronics inside this device which has to be powered. So this powering is also done through the same lines, that is VCC, and ground is also given, that is 5 volts and ground, and you have 2 lines, that is D plus and D minus. So these are the 4 lines that you see in any of your USB stick or any of your USB cable. So 4 lines will be there in USB cable. One is ground and the other one is VCC. Then you have D plus and D minus. So that is what you have. So universal serial bus, it's an serial half duplexed asynchronous communication. Then yeah, of course you have pen drive, you have a lot of things, keypad, you have hard disk, you have so many places where you see USB as an usage. So that is what it use. So the very commonly used, the next protocol is the very commonly used protocol, and that is what is our UART as a protocol. So UART is very easy and very commonly used protocol in embedded, and this is the one which we will be starting tomorrow to understand. We'll be trying, we'll understand every of this protocol in our course, uh, but we always start with UART because it's the easiest one. So what exactly UART means? UART means universal asynchronous receiver transmitter protocol. So universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter protocol. So that is what it is. So universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter protocol. So to transmit using UART as a protocol, so let us say UART as a protocol. So you require two lines, that is your TX and your RX. So you have your TX and you have your RX. This is your D1 and D2. So what kind of protocol it is? It is definitely serial communication because you have only one line for transmit, so that, and one line for receive, so it becomes serial. And it is full duplex communication because you have one dedicated line for transmission, one dedicated line for reception. Then you don't have a clock along with the data, so it becomes your asynchronous communication. So asynchronous, why it is asynchronous? Because you are not transmitting the clock along with the data. So that is where it becomes as asynchronous communication. So to talk about it's a serial full duplexed asynchronous communication. Of course, UART is used most commonly in your GSM modem, your GPS, your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi chip. So you have most commonly used and most widely used protocol is your UART. So that is what it is. So UART will discuss in detail. We'll go for each one of them. We'll go in detail and we'll try to understand. But today, just to give you a brief idea on protocols. So what we understood is, I'll just give a quick recap. So we are only talking about wired communication protocol. In this wired communication protocol, the broad classification is serial communication and parallel communication. So we have advantage and disadvantage of both of serial and parallel communication. Then we have simplex, half duplex, and full duplex communication. And what exactly is that? Then you have synchronous and asynchronous communication. And we also got to know that whenever you're transmitting the data, the same rate it has to be received as well. So the sampling has to be done. So the way we do the sampling will decide whether it is asynchronous or synchronous communication. So if at all, if you transmit the data along with the clock, so then it becomes asynchronous communication. If you only transmit the data and there are two separate clocks inside the device which are sampling the data, that makes it as asynchronous communication. So then we got to know, we also got to know there are different protocols available in the industry, and few of them is only something that we understood today. So out of which we started with I2C, that is inter-IC communication protocol, where you require SDA and SCL line, and we try to understand what kind of communication it is, and serial half duplexed synchronous communication. Then we have something called SPI, that is serial peripheral interface, which has master out slave in and master in slave out and a clock. So what kind of communication protocol is this? It's a serial full duplexed synchronous communication. Why synchronous? Because we have a clock along with the data. So that is what it is. Then we also figured out USB. USB has differential pair, that is D plus and D minus. And it is serial half duplex asynchronous communication because it do not have a clock along with the data. Then you also figured out UART. UART is universal asynchronous. The name only is saying it is asynchronous. Universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter protocol, and it requires two lines, that is your TX and RX. So what kind of protocol it is? It's a serial full duplexed asynchronous communication protocol. And each protocol we gave some example also what each protocol devices which are used in each protocol, but I want you guys to go through this in detail and tomorrow tell me all the devices which are used in I2C, SPI, USB and UART. There are few more protocols like Ethernet protocol, there are CAN protocol and other things. But today, so we have something called CAN, we have Ethernet as a protocol which is used for networking. So with CAN is definitely something that we will cover in our course. Ethernet is also something that we'll cover in our course. There are a few more protocols which are, so you can also search for the list of embedded protocols. So list of embedded protocols. So which I am talking is wired protocols for now. So I am not talking about the wireless protocols. So we will go in detail, but I am just giving a heads up saying there are different protocols and we bifurcate with respect to how exactly it is connected, how exactly it is communicating, and of course there are different devices which are available in market which understand this protocol. So one thing that you have to understand is if two devices are communicating to each other, both of them should understand the same protocol. Then only they can communicate. Otherwise, they cannot communicate. So that is something that you guys have to understand. So I think that's it for today. I hope I am still available and you guys are listening. Any questions? Or is it understood? Bhagya, Naveen, Sagar, Swarup. I am not able to listen to any one of you. Probably my speakers are low. Okay. So, Bhagya, I am not able to hear you.
Yeah, Sanjay.
Okay. So, Sagar, Swarup, everyone understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So, we will stop till here for today because the next topic may not be 10 minutes may not be sufficient for the next class. So, tomorrow we will be going a deep dive on UART and we'll try to understand how exactly UART works when 8051 also. And we'll try to write some programs and as well. So there's a lot of things to learn with respect to UART. Once we learn UART, there are a lot of things that you can do. So you have GSM, you have GPS, you have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. So there are a lot of things that you can try to experiment where we can try to understand how exactly we can send an SMS, how exactly we can make a call, how exactly we can capture the longitude, latitude of an GSM module. So there are a lot of practical examples which I'll be providing you the hardware as well this week. So we can definitely work on that as well. So once you learn your UART, you have enough work, like 15 days, you can have enough work on the practical side. In parallel, we will be learning the other concepts in theory also. So that is what is the plan. So tomorrow, let everyone join. So we'll be talking about UART as a protocol. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.